How was today? Enjoyed it? Yes. Can we get tomorrow? Yes. You're welcome to come. We're very, very happy, proud of every single one of you. Like I said, it's really just an excuse for me to come and be with you in your company and just enjoying this. As much joy as grappling has been for me, I can now see that in you. And there's nothing better than that, really. You find, not to say that I liken this to seeing my children grow, but there is some similarity. When you see students, they flourish and they develop themselves, there's a great sense of pride, healthy pride in that. And I think it's also important for yourselves to challenge yourselves by trying to give beyond yourselves. A lot of the times we come to Ji-Jitsu, and Jiu-Jitsu is a very selfish endeavor. It's one-on-one. I turn up, I get good, I'm better, I'm stronger, I can tap out, etc., etc. What's actually harder is to give. So sometimes, and I'm not saying that you start opening up dojos and start teaching Jiu-Jitsu, but help one another, help each other improve. That says a lot about you in terms of what you want out of Jiu-Jitsu, out of grappling, just in general, okay? So it's really, really important that you don't just come here when there's a grading time, when there's tournament time. We hope to see you here all the time, as much as you're able to, yeah? And I understand we all have our own commitments, we all have our own lives, and this is not life, but it's a part of life. It's not a very important part because it gives you, I hope, a great sense of fulfillment. There's a lot of us here that are very fulfilled. When we step on these mats, it feels wonderful. And when we step out, not so wonderful sometimes. Yeah? Or sometimes we need to come here to feel alive again. Whatever the case is. Yeah? So I want you to think about that, how you can reciprocate a little bit with your training. Yeah? I'm not saying teaching is the only way. Helping your brother, turning up for training, being that partner regularly. Maybe your being here really helps someone in the real sense, in the sense that maybe you could save someone's life. I know brothers, we know people who have really suffered in the last couple of years, and this was their mainstay. And when this was taken away from them for whatever reason, through injury or through other conditions we find ourselves in, they lost a part of themselves. Yeah? A lot of them lost their being. Yeah? I was speaking to people at university, counselling people who have lost Iman, faith, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For those of us who share the faith of Islam, it's hard, really difficult. And then just being here with people like-minded, with good character, with something to offer, something to give back, will really help you. Yeah? I'm not trying to sound all mushy, but it's the reality, guys. I trust me, I hear it all the time. So just one thing on that. More practically, you're only going to get good at Jiu-Jitsu by turning up. Yeah? And not turning up once a year for grading, not turning up once a week even. Yeah? Once a week's a good start if you've never done any martial arts before. For those of you now who've been training 2, 3, 4 times a week and then you stop and then I'm not progressing, and we need to change that. There has to be consistency with the way you train and a method of how you develop. If you're doing the same thing that you were doing last year, the year before that, if you're not playing off of your back, if you never dare pass the guard, you don't try the half guard, guys, you will not develop. I'm not saying you have to be experts in these things, but you must taste it. Yeah? A lot of us are just so in that comfort zone. Yeah? So really think about that, and also think about who you spar with. One of the beautiful things about our space here, inshallah, and I can see it in all your faces, there's no unnecessary aggression. We're firm, we're strong, we fight hard, but we don't come here with a chip on the shoulder. We don't come here with, vengeance. Tap him out today, bro. And I hope that never seeps in. Yeah? In terms of grading and understanding Jiu-Jitsu, it's down to your teacher's discretion. Okay? There is no one criteria. Nobody has a criteria that says this is what a blue belt is. Yeah? As in a bona fide agreed upon criteria. Nobody has that. There's no ijma'. Green belt, purple belt, brown or black. Yeah, it's down to the discretion of your teacher, your performance on the mat, performance in tournaments. All these things count. And for me, inshallah, you see, this space is not really just about fighting. Yeah? It's about refining. Yeah? So if I see that perhaps you're going down a path that really sour, just to prove a point, just because you can tap somebody out, maybe it's not a place for you. Yeah? And I don't mind that. I really don't mind that. It doesn't make any difference to me. So I'm fulfilled in you just coming here. But think about that, really, guys. Try and just be a little, gear yourselves a little bit towards how you can help others. And believe me, you'll see great elevation, great progress in your game, honestly. The last thing I'll say is also this, the chatter. I'm not saying you're talkative. I'm not saying I need to tell you to shut up. I'm talking about the chatter that happens in your mind and amongst yourselves in the hope of improving. Oh, bro, you know what I would have done? No, you should do. No, you know what? If I coulda, woulda. We have this kind of discussion all the time. And I'm not saying how many examples to go by, but I learned very, very early on to just keep my mouth shut if I wanted to progress. I want to get that banter. I want to go and say, oh, you know what, you did to me last week. Bro, you know what you should have done. You know, next time we go do it. Zip it. Any type of malice that you hold in your heart, let it go. You put them shoes on, that's it. Just let it go. Yeah? Don't hold anything within you when you leave here. Man, keep me in the head, bro. I swear you did on purpose. Poke me in the eye. We'll get him next week. These things fester. And other things also fester in your heart. If they are there and they relate to me, come and talk to me. Yeah? I am your brother. I'm talking here and you're all listening, and it's mashallah. Allah bless you for your attention. But I'm just like you. I'm your brother. I just so happen to be doing Ji-Jitsu a little longer than you have, and I happen to be just teaching you a little bit. Yeah? But you are my brothers. You can correct me. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Okay? Please, we need that. We need that reciprocation. I'm not averse to anybody telling me, Ustad, I need you to. No problem. Come and talk to me. Be polite. No need to do it in an open gathering. You know what you did last week, Ustad? No need to do that. Come and talk to me. Oh, Ustad, what happened last week? What? We have a discussion. Yeah? Anything that's fresh stream, we want this to develop, grow for all of us. Just a little pep talk, just something I felt like I needed to say. Alright? Really, really pleased for all of you guys. What any thoughts from
Yeah, I mean, mirroring everything that Nissa said, I think something that struck a chord with me was when Nissa said people who stopped doing Jiu-Jitsu, they kind of they started going away from their faith as well, and their deen. What's interesting is, for me, it was almost the direct opposite. So I would probably say when I started Jiu-Jitsu, I wasn't very practicing, just like every other 17-year-old, I guess. And then I became more practicing the more I was exposed to Jiu-Jitsu, and it was because of certain individuals who, they didn't come up and tell me, go pray, go do this. It was just the way that they are. One of them being Nissa, and it was just being around these kind of people, being around good people, is I don't know, alhamdulillah, just something happens and you just end up, it's one of the reasons I chose to go to Rogers as well and train at Rogers, and one of the reasons I really enjoy training there is there's quite a large kind of number of Muslims that train there as well. So when you go there and do certain things, it's not weird to see, you go there and you see a load of people praying Jamaat. You go to Rogers in the corner. Well, I mean, we're in the corner, we're not in the way or anything, but it's not weird. People are so used to it now. It's just like, oh yeah, they're the guys who are Muslim. They pray in their corner after training, during training, before training. It's one of those things for me. It's like it's such a beautiful thing. And it's so amazing to see so many brothers come together. I think it's one of the things that you don't realize there's this big of a number of Muslims that train together and have high level training here. I think I was never exposed to this, going up through the belts. So, alhamdulillah, for me it's such a nice thing to see. It's such a nice thing to be a part of, especially to see it growing as well as an extension of the masjid. You know, like when you look at what the mat was before and where it is now, you know, it's like it's a full-time dojo. You know, like there's, you know, I've trained at and taught at gyms which are nowhere near the level of facility that this is now. You know, so you know, and in terms of jiu-jitsu, it's just, you know, a belt doesn't really show you much. It just shows you how long you've been training. You know, it doesn't really say anything. I think and it's almost, you know, it's basically just mirroring everything this I said, to be honest. Like, you know, once you get to, especially when you get to black belt, you're never going to be that guy who's just going to come in and just tear everyone apart. I trained with Roger a couple of days ago and he tears everyone apart. Like, he plays his own game, but for the most part, everyone else, like, you know, I'll come in, there'll be days when Nissa taps me, I'll tap Nissa, like, you know, you can't, you know, maybe at blue belt you can be the top blue belt, but then once you get to kind of black belt, it's literally on the day, you know. That's why you really can't, like, you have to accept that, you know, getting tapped is just a part of training, you know. And I think what's more important is, and this is what I try and tell, like, a lot of, like, the students that I've had over the years is, like, I'd rather tap and not get injured and go to work tomorrow and be able to train again tomorrow. For me, it's like training was such a big part of my life. I was training like twice a day for a number of years, and you know, for me it was a bigger deal that if you know, I had that thing. I've gone through the phase of where you have an ego, you don't want to tap to an armbar, and I've had the injuries. I've got like nerve damage in my arms and stuff. It's not worth it. You know, I've had like big tournaments coming up and had like silly submissions where 2 days before the tournament I'm training too hard and someone has an armbar on me and I just didn't want to tap and I've completely torn my arm to pieces, and you can't train, and then for 2 months you're out, and then, you know, it's so much easier just to tap, you know. So it's just one of those things. I think you kind of try to learn it early on. Like, it's very easy to say, it's very difficult to do, but try to it's not a reflection of how bad you are. Sometimes it's just a reflection of how good your training partner might have had a better day. You know, like, no 2 rounds are ever the same, you know. Like, sometimes I'll train with Nissa and I'm exhausted and Nissa's feeling great. Sometimes it'll be the other way around. I feel great and Nissa, you know, maybe I had a really, like, cardio intense round before and Nissa didn't have as much of it. You know, like, there's so many variables. So, you know, like, never take it personally if someone taps you. You know, I think it's not it's just one of those things. I think the more comfortable you get with tapping, the better you'll improve, you know, the faster you'll improve. So,
The advice